This Let's Play was supported by these awesome hobby companies.
Hello guys, and welcome to this battle report for Chain of Command. I am of course John, and I am joined by Richard from Too Fat Lardies. So we're going to be having a little play. This is the first time I've actually got to play this under camera, which I'm really excited by. So what are we going to be doing first?
Okay, well, we're going to start the game off in the normal fashion. We're going to roll to see what our force morale is for both of us. This tells us what state of mind our troops are in. So I'm going to roll for mine. I rolled a 2, well, that means I'm starting off on 8. So my troops are potentially a little bit hesitant. So I've got to maybe play this one a bit cagey. Okay. If they were up, if I'd rolled a 6, if we were up at 11, they might have been a bit gung ho. Yeah. You might decide, if you're playing with friends, you might decide that you just want to both start off at the same point. But I kind of like the little bit of pressure this puts me under. Right.
So I now need to do the same.
You need to do the same. All right. So roll the dice. Okay, 5. Now that puts you up on 10. Okay. So your guys are in a much better state of mind. Obviously, in a campaign system, this kind of thing might be covered anyway, but this for a random game kind of suggests to me that I've attacked here before, but had a bloody nose. So it really just gives a little bit of backstory. Okay. Okay.
Now that we have our morale down, what do we need to do now?
We need to get on with our patrol phase, which ultimately is going to tell us where we can deploy our troops to. It's kind of a pre-game mini-game, which means that we don't actually have to start the game with my guys lined up on that edge and your guys lined up on that edge, and we kind of gradually advance forward. There's 2 advantages there. One, it means we make contact before 9:30 when we're thinking about going to the pub at 10. And B, it means we're kind of hitting the enemy at first point of contact, so we can crack straight on with the action. Yeah.
Right, so let's have a look at the table at the minute here. So I'm playing Germans in this game, and I have 4 markers down here.
You've got 4 patrol markers there, which are kind of spread out. Because we're playing an attack and defense scenario, you've got a defensive line here from which you can push out. My guys are attacking up the road, which means my patrol markers are down here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll a dice, and that's going to tell me how many free moves I get with my patrol markers before we start the game proper. So I've got 3. Now these guys move 12 inches. We take no notice of terrain, so if I'm crossing hedges or whatever, it doesn't matter. Yep. But what I have to do is I have to keep them within 12 inches of each other. I can't. I've got to keep that chain, if you like. So that's 2, and I'm going to push right up the road with the 3rd one. So you can see these guys here, 12 inches of there, they're within 12 inches of there. Yeah. And this is representing the point where my patrols are getting to. Now we start the patrol phase proper. Whoever goes first is the person with the higher force morale, and that's you in this situation. So you can actually start responding to this threat that you've become aware of, and you want to push out and try and protect your positions here and push me as far back as possible. Okay. So away you go. So you can move your first one 12 inches.
So I think this marker down here, I think we're going to try and get him.
That's great. So as long as he's within 12 inches of that one, that's absolutely fine. Yeah.
So we'll get him right up behind
pushing forward. Right. Now, obviously, I'd really like to push this one up the road, but that would mean it was further than 12 inches from that one. Yep. So I've got to come right to the back and start putting these ones up. So I'm moving that one to here. I'm kind of pushing out a little bit in this direction. Okay. So you'll go next.
So I will go next, and I'm thinking of moving this guy. Yeah. And it's going to go 12 inches, but to keep within 12 of that. Put it to there. Great. Just to the edge.
Okay. And I'm going to move this guy up here. Okay. Okay. So what we're doing here is I'm getting this to a point that's within 12 of that, which is within 12 of that and that, but I'm starting to push up here. Yeah.
All right. I think this farthest one. Now, I can only come within 12 inches of one of these before I get
as soon as you get to 12 inches, you would stop dead. Now, how far are they apart? They're 25 inches apart, so you could actually, if you want, move 12 inches there if you wanted. Okay.
So 12 inches will get me to about there.
Right, but we're not locked down here. No. So what I'm going to do is I'm pretty keen to push up here, so I'm actually going to push this one to here, and that's going to lock these down. Because I've got within 12, that means these ones can't move.
Yeah.
So we're already starting to come to the end of the patrol phase. So you can see how quick it is.
Yeah.
And we'll then see how that generates our deployment areas.
Okay. So I'm going to shift this one up.
Yeah.
Now that is going to bring me within 12.
Pretty close. To within 12, yeah.
Within
So
12
as soon as you get within 12, you've got to stop. So you would stop there.
I would have to stop about there.
Yeah, that's fine.
So I'll just bring that one up and lock it.
Okay, so that's locked down as well.
Okay.
And I'm going to start pushing along here, pushing out here. I'm actually just going to pop that one straight on top of that one. And then I'm going to be bouncing out there in a minute. So.
Okay. Now for me,
yeah,
I'm looking at what this marker can tell me and what this marker can tell me. And what can this one tell me? About the same.
Yeah.
So if this...
Yeah, you got just keep it within 12 of that and 12 of that.
I just pop this to there.
Right, okay.
That puts me within 12 and... Oh, that's actually within 12 there. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is just...
You're not going to... Right, that's fine. It's perfectly fine for you to move and avoid contact.
It's just because I couldn't read it straight up. So he's within 12 there and...
But I'm going to move this one straight up to there and lock you down. Right. So you've only got one left.
I've got one left.
Now you're kind of in a position here where as soon as either side has all of their patrol markers locked down, that's the end of the patrol phase. Nobody else gets to keep moving. So in this situation, probably the best thing you can do is lock yourself down and end that phase, and we'll see why in a moment.
Yeah.
So, but it just depends. These guys are within 12, so you might decide you want to kind of go wide over here if you're looking to generate deployment jump-off points in this area.
Yep. So I'm going to have a look. I'm going to start doing my measurements. So they're within 12.
Yeah.
Which means this guy is basically a free roamer.
He's free to go where he likes, yeah. So you could transfer him over that side, or you could transfer him over there. It's up to you.
I'm actually thinking if I really want to bring him, I'm going to bring him back to here.
Okay,
just
fine.
To that corner.
Right. So what am I going to do? I think I'm going to start moving out in this direction here. So you've got to move him. You can't decide not to move him.
This is true. Yeah, I think I know what I'm going to do.
Right.
So within 12 of any of these.
Yeah, that's right. Any of those, because it will create a chain.
So if that transferred to there,
that would be there. Yeah,
would be within. That would lock him down.
Yeah,
and he'd be safe there.
Yeah.
So I can lock this guy
if
I come back a couple of inches. So like give it 10 inches, which puts me easy.
But this guy's locked down, so you couldn't move him.
No, I can't move him. No. But I'm going to use him to chain over.
Right.
So actually, that's a pretty good position right there.
So you're going to have to start moving, because you can only go 12 inches.
Yep. So 12 inches.
So you'd have to be moving in there to try and get him over there. Yeah.
So to here first.
Yeah, that's fine. Put in
12?
there. Yeah. And I'm actually gonna move over here and lock myself down there. So you've got to decide where you are going to go with him.
Yeah.
So if you come within 12 inches of there, you would be locked down. Not a bad position though.
No, not a bad position. I'm going to charge it forward.
Okay.
Until it hits 12 with something. So
that would be about there. That's the furthest you. Okay, great. So we're all locked down. That's the end of our patrol phase. So why do we do that? Well, the reason we do that is that this is representing the points where our patrols have met. So really your patrol's pushed out there, mine pushed out here, and now this is going to determine where our deployment points can be, and they're the points to the table where we can deploy our troops to.
Yeah.
So the way we do that is, if I can borrow your ruler, we draw a line through the nearest two of our enemy's patrol markers, and that then creates this triangular zone here, which tells us where we can place our deployment point. The only criteria is we have to be 6 inches back and we have to be in cover. So if I was placing a jump off point from this one, I could have it back in the garage, or I could have it back here in this the yard at the rear of the garage. If I was going to go with this one, the nearest two are that one and that one, which would mean if I've got to be in cover, I'd either have to be, well, right down the road, which would mean that if there's no cover, it would have to be on the table edge. But actually the alternative would be back here, so I could place that there. With these guys here, we could place that there and that there, so that would really generate a fairly obvious point
that's a
here.
good bit of cover back there.
Yeah, and this one here is a kind of messy one, really, there and there, so that would be way over there in the field.
These guys are right here.
Yeah, so pushing that out on the extreme flank there, I'd have been much better off pushing it in there, which would have at least allowed me to get something behind there. Anyway, so as you went first, you place your first deployment point.
Okay.
So let's have a look at the options you've got here. So we can take a line there and there. So you'd be able to put a deployment point, a jump off point in the orchard or back on that road if you used that one. This one here, you've got there and there. So you've got a choice really there of in the building, back in that field or in that field. This one here, we've got a line there and a line there, which again gives you the choice of back in the garden or in the building. And then finally that one there, a line there and a line there. So a huge amount of choice from that one, really, anywhere on that whole flank you want. So in terms of winning that mini game, that really looks like you've kind of got the better options than I have. So where are you going to put your first deployment point, your first jump off point? Sorry.
Right, my first jump off point. I think we're going to go for I think something in the orchard.
Okay, right, so over there.
Go into the orchard up there.
Right, okay, that's great. So you've used that.
Yep.
You've used that one. Let me give you your other two, because whilst we've got 4 patrol markers, we've actually just got 3 jump off points that we generate from that. Okay, well, I'm going to put my first one back here in this garage.
Okay.
The good thing about the garage is that I can actually deploy my troops 6 inches from that. So I could get them in the road if I wanted to make a rush up the road, or I could get them into cover here, which is another option if I just want to get involved in a firefight there.
Okay.
So where are you going to put your next one?
My second one is going to go into this building.
Yeah, that's a kind of strong point position that it's going to be really
location for
wise to hold on to. So we've got here and there, and I think I'm fairly obviously going to go there.
Go into the hedge.
That's a good position there.
Yep. And my last one, we'd sort of thought about over this area a bit, I think, or perhaps back here.
Well, because of this wide one here, you've kind of got anywhere from there across to there with that one. That's a really well positioned.
What I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to just put it back here.
So you've kind of got a backstop sort of sweeper type position.
Yeah.
If we kind of push up, that's a good one. And actually, I'm going to do very, very similar, because that one over there was going to be way over off in the fields.
Yeah.
So this one here, I'm putting it back here. So if you've got any armour, I would at least be able to deploy into sort of cover coming up here. Okay, so that's the end of our patrol phase.
Yep. So we'll tidy all this away.
Get rid of those, chuck them away, and as we can see, we've now got a deployment area where my troops are really going to be able to deploy in this area here, around there, whereas yours are on a bit of a broader frontage.
We're in a bit of a broader frontage, but we have the cover.
You've got depth
we
as well.
have 3 locations that are good in cover.
Okay, that's looking good. So the best way to think of a jump off point is when the guys are marching up the road, they meet the wily old soldier who's been fighting in this area for a while, and he says, "You're okay until you get to just around the garage, then you've got to start taking care because the enemy are there." And we know that we've seen the enemy in the orchard. Our patrols saw the enemy in the area of the destroyed house and picked them up in the orchard further back. So if we meet troops in those areas, we shouldn't be surprised, because we've already been warned of that by our patrols. It also means that we can get straight into the action. Now, as I'm attacking, I get the first phase. The thing about chain of command is it's not each phase isn't a turn. A turn is made up of numerous phases, but we're not quite sure how many that's going to be.
Okay.
So I roll 5 command dice. I'm commanding an American force, and John's commanding a German force. This is Normandy 1944. Pretty classic action. Okay. So I've got 2 1s, a 3, and 2 4s. Now, that would allow me to deploy. The 1 would allow me to deploy a team. So that would be something like, if I had a 50 cal or a 30 cal machine gun, that would be a team. I've got a bazooka team, for example, in my platoon. If I added them together to make a 2, or if I'd rolled a 2, I could deploy a squad. If I roll a 3, I could deploy a junior leader, which is a squad leader, and his men. The difference between a 2 and a 3 is that the 2 allows us to deploy the squad, the 3 allows us to deploy the squad, and it also allows the squad sergeant to put them on overwatch or get them in the right tactical position. And I've got the option with 2 4s to bring on 2 senior leaders. If I brought on both my senior leaders now, that's my lieutenant and my platoon sergeant, I'd kind of be jumping the gun. However, what the 3 does allow me to do is to bring on an item of support that I've chosen.
Right.
And that is a tank. It's a Sherman. Now, the Shermans don't use the jump-off points because whilst my men are obviously lurking in this area, my tanks are not lurking.
Your tanks are thundering and rumbling and making all sorts of noise.
So their jump-off point is the road that they're accessing via. So I'm putting them on within 6 inches of that.
Okay.
I've used the tank commander, who's a junior leader, to activate them. So I'm going to put them on overwatch, just in case you bring on any troops and start firing at me. Overwatch means that those guys can now sit there for as long as I like through numerous phases until the turn ends, and when the turn ends they go off overwatch. So I'm going to bring them on. The other thing I'm going to do is I am actually going to combine those 2, and I'm going to bring on a squad of infantry. Now the question is, where am I going to go from? Right, let's bring them on. Now I'm going to be a little bit circumspect, and I'm going to push them down. I'm going to put them down. Have we got any windows in this building?
Yeah,
we have. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to put the BAR team in there, because we've got 2 teams in a squad. We've got a BAR team and we've got a rifle team. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put those guys there, and as I put them down on a 2 rather than a 3, I can't put them on overwatch. Okay, well, I'm not going to use my 4s because I don't want my senior leaders on yet. So I take my dice, my command dice, and it goes over to you. You roll your 5 command dice and we see what options you've got.
Okay, I'm just going to roll into the couple of them.
Yeah, good call.
Yeah, that's...
Well, interestingly, not a great roll.
No,
so your guys may be caught on the hop. A single 6 means that the next phase is mine. If you've got a double 6, the next phase would have been yours. 4s. Well, the interesting thing is you could activate 3 senior leaders there. The problem is you've only got 1 because Germans are kind of short of senior leaders at this phase of the war. So the only thing you can bring on would be 1 squad. And that's it.
Doesn't feel like the best thing to do.
Well, the only thing that's in your favour is the fact that I'm the one who's got to be attacking you. So the longer you're not on the table, actually, the more guesswork I've got to do, because your guys could appear. My patrols have told me the areas you're likely to come from, but so you're just keeping your powder dry. The great roll there would have been a few 5s to give you some chain of command points. But so it's not the end of the world at this phase. Halfway through the battle, that would be a terrible roll. Okay, so are you happy for me to take the next phase, or are you going to be put down a squad?
I'm going to put a squad down.
Okay, right.
I'm going to put something down. Now, is it, when you say squad, is it the squad plus its weapons team, or is it?
Yeah, it is. Well, it's both teams within the squad. It's the whole squad. So,
okay. Now, who is going to come out to play? I think.
Okay.
This
so
lot.
where do you think you're going to be taking them from? So they can go within 6 inches of your deployment point. So you could happily go in the orchard, and you'd be able to fire, obviously, immediately at me. Or you could put them in here, but there's no real threat there, is there? Or, I mean, this one here would allow you to put them there.
Yep.
The difference is here is under 18, so you'd be firing at close range. And I'm not on Overwatch, so I couldn't respond there.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, but here would be out of line of sight of my tank. It would be long range, but you wouldn't get me responding with the tank, because this tank can see through there.
Yeah. Well, let's have a look. So I have an MG team to put down first. Anyway, I'm going to decide where I'm going to put them. Do you know what? I'm going to let you think about it for a minute, and I'm just going to put them actually back here.
Okay.
So that's MG back there.
So what we're saying in this game is that troops on a hedge can see over it, troops back from a hedge can see up to the hedge.
Yep. Which is fine.
Yeah, these are kind of slightly higher, not bocage, but slightly higher Norman hedges. Okay, so while you're doing that, I'll clear your command dice out of there.
Okay.
And I'll start warming up my command dice to see if I can get a good roll.
Go for it.
Put them in there. Oh dear me. So 1-6, that means the next phase is yours. So I could activate one team, so that would be something like a bazooka team.
Yep.
Or I have an option. The American squads are somewhat unusual in that they have got two teams, but they've actually got a third team, Abel, Baker and Charlie. And the third team is actually a two-man scout team that can break off from the rifle team.
Yeah.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll 2 dice. Ooh, 3. Now, when I'm crossing a minor obstacle, I roll 2 dice and take the lower one off. So they've just gone 2. But because it's a national characteristic, they can move with 2 dice and go tactical. Well, what does tactical mean? Tactical means that even though they're in the open, they actually count as being in light cover because they're really taking advantage of the ground that they're moving through. Most troops can only roll 1 dice for movement and be tactical, but because these have got that special scout characteristic, they can do that. So that's my 1.
Okay.
With my 3, I'm going to move 2 dice up the road with the tank,
which is 7.
So I'm rolling 7, and the 3 is going to put them back on Overwatch again. Now, okay, and the other 3 means I could activate or bring on another junior leader with his squad, but I'm kind of okay at the moment. I'm just trying to probe forward to try and establish where you are.
Okay.
So I'm not going to play that. So that 3 and the 4, I'm not going to use those. So the phase switches to you.
All right. So let's have a go at mine now and see what happens.
Okay. Ooh.
Well, that
unusual one.
That's fine.
5s give you points on your chain of command dice,
So
which are going to come in handy.
That's me up to 3.
So that gives you 3. Yeah.
So that's me on 3.
Yeah. So. But what you can do is you could activate a team, or you could activate a squad, or you could activate a junior leader and his squad. So you could activate the guys on the table already, or you could bring a new squad on. It's entirely up to you.
Oh, I'm bringing a new squad on.
Okay, right. Where are you going to put them?
With their junior leader as well, which is going to be handy.
Right.
So you're not going to like this so much.
Well, that's one of the reasons for using scouts, is to push them forward to try and threaten your enemies' jump-off points. Because if I get within 4 inches of them, it shuts them down. You can't use them. If I land on them and the turn ends, then they are taken out of the game, and that's a blow for your force morale, because it means I'm capturing your territory. So, where are you going? Funnily enough, I thought you could be.
You thought you'd find something out there, and you did.
And I did. Yeah.
But I had to wait because I knew that if that tank moved, it would be out of line of sight of these guys.
Yeah,
so.
No, that's a good call. You've done the right thing there. You've allowed me to.
We've kept our heads down while you've been moving that thing around.
Yeah.
And
okay. So these guys can fire. Let's take that tree out of there while you're popping them in. So you've got.
And their junior leader.
Okay, so you've got 3 guys on the machine gun.
Yep.
And you've got 6 guys on the rifle team. Now, because it's the first time down, the junior leader can use 2 points to activate the machine gun, to use your national characteristic, which is Maschinengewehr, because the Germans place so much emphasis on the use of the machine gun.
Yep.
When the section leader uses both of his command points to activate that team, he can add 2 dice to it. So that'll be a whopping 10 dice there.
Yep.
And because these guys, the other team, the rifle team, have deployed this turn, they can fire anyway. They don't need a command initiative to activate them. So this is kind of the best firing you're going to get, because they're completely under your control when you first put them on the table. So do you want to roll me 10 dice for the machine gun?
I certainly will. I'll get my white dice.
Now, because these guys are within 4 inches of there, you're going to split the hits between them. However, you're actually going to have some choices. Well, you're not. I was thinking, if these guys were in the open and they were in light cover, you could choose to put your hits all on the most obvious unit in the open. However, of course, these guys are tactical, so they count as being in light cover.
Yeah.
So we'll just split the hits. So 10 dice there. We're at short range, so we're hitting on 4s, 5s and 6s. Nice and easy. It's always 4s, 5s and 6s at close range. It's always 5 and 6 at long range. So roll the dice with that, please.
Okay.
Okay, so how many you got there?
4s. 1,
2, 3, 4.
2, 4 hits.
Okay, and roll me 6 dice for your rifleman, please.
Okay, 3, 6.
So we got 4 hits so far. And
another 3.
So that makes 7.
Yep.
Okay, now the way we do that is we split the hits evenly between the 2 groups, because you can't split 7 evenly. So we have to put 3 on them and 3 on them. And because these guys are in the open, you can, even though they're tactical, they are still in the open.
Yep.
You can choose whether you put the additional hit on these guys or those guys.
I think we're going to put the additional onto these guys.
Right. Okay. So
I'm not too concerned about your 2
scout guys.
Yeah.
Well, they're kind of a bit scuppered. If they keep advancing, they're gonna. But they've done what I wanted them to do, which was force you to reveal your hand over there. So, a 6 is a man dead.
Yep.
And we're in light cover, so 4s and 5s are shocked. So we'll put that down. Now the junior leader here is actually with the BAR team in the garage. They're actually inside, but we put them on the roof because it's easier for you to see. So we don't dice to see if there's any leader casualties there. So it's just a man dead. And now we roll for the 3 hits on the scout team. And oh dear me, 1 dead.
Yep.
And 1 point of shock. Had they been in the open rather than being tactical, the 3 would have been a shock as well. Now that would have meant that team had double shock and they would have fallen back. However, because they're within 4 inches of that team, they would have shared the shock. So they're still actually counting as the same squad, because I rolled so badly for my movement, which was kind of really lucky. But had they been there, this guy would have routed them. But there we go. So that's your shooting.
Yep.
So anything else you want to do in that turn? Well, that's kind of it, isn't it?
That's basically it. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I'm going to take my phase and roll the dice to see what I get. So I've got a 5.
You've got lots of options.
I put 1, lots of options, yes. So I put 1 on my chain of command dice. And I could, if I want, kind of activate junior leader and his squad. Whoops. Another junior leader and his squad. A squad, if I wanted to add that, I could make it the junior leader, or I could bring on the team. So I could kind of almost activate my entire platoon if I wanted.
Yeah.
And there's other options as well. I could add that 1 to that 3 to make a 4. So think of the command dice as a hand of cards, and you're trying to play them in the most effective manner possible. But what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to use the junior leader here to activate these guys and get them to fire. Because we obviously want to return some fire here. Now the BAR team fires with 3 dice. And there are 2 other men with that. The leader here has actually got an SMG, so he doesn't fire because 12 inches is a range for an SMG. So I'll roll my 5 dice for that, and I'm hitting, as we know, 4 5s and 6s, and that's 2 hits.
Okay.
And then we're going to roll for these guys here. There's 5 of them. And they've got 1 point of shock. 1 point of shock doesn't matter. If it was 2 points of shock, it would take a dice off the firing. So that's another 3 hits.
Right.
So that's 5 hits, and the Scout is going to roll his dice as well. So 5 hits so far. That's it.
Okay.
So you've got to split those evenly between the 2 teams that are there.
Yeah.
Now, of course, you can't split 5 evenly, but because you're in cover, you choose where you put the additional hit. The reason we do this, it's important in chain of command to see when the light machine gun, the squad machine gun, is in action and when it's out of action.
Yep.
So you're undoubtedly going to be putting the 3rd hit onto the rifle team.
Yep.
So roll 3 dice on the rifle team.
Okay, so 3 for the rifles.
Is one dead.
1 dead and shock.
And 1 shock, that's right. See, you learnt the rules already. First time you played him on camera, and there it is. All right.
I'm getting there.
Yeah,
I'm getting there.
And 2 hits
on the machine gun.
on the machine gun, which again is exactly the same.
3 and a 1.
4s and 5s will be shot because these are low walls and not heavy cover. So that's nothing, no effect on there.
Fine by me.
Okay, right. So that's that, and now I'm going to use my other 3 to activate my tank. And I really want to get that rushed up the road, so I'm going to roll 3 dice. Now rolling 3 dice means that I can't fire anything at you, and I have moved that 11. So those guys are there, and because I've really rushed it, it means they can't react to anything, so I can't go on Overwatch.
Yeah.
What else do I want to do? Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do, which I think might upset you a bit here. I'm going to take the 2 and the 1 and put them together, and I'm going to deploy another support option.
Another Sherman.
Which you didn't think I had.
Another Sherman.
We agreed at the start of the game how many support points we had. Now they've arrived there, and they can fire immediately.
Oh, I see what you're doing.
Yeah. So they've got line of sight there because they can fire over the top.
Yep.
Now we're looking at firing HE at those guys. The tankers know what they're doing. I don't have to specify whether they're loaded with AP or HE. These guys know their job. So I'm going to roll 6 dice, and I'm hitting on 4s, 5s and 6s because this is always close range for tank guns. 4 hits. And I'll tell you the thing that you're going to really like about HE.
Am I going to like or dislike right now?
You're going to hate it.
Okay.
It reduces cover by 1 level.
Oh,
so those guys count as though they're in the open. So roll me 2 dice on your rifle team, please.
Okay.
Ooh,
5 and a 2.
So 5 is a dead.
Yeah.
And a 2's nothing. And roll me here on the machine gun team.
2 on
dice,
them as well.
Yeah, please. Ooh, 1 dead and 1 point of shot. Now we need to see if it's your junior leader. If it's your squad leader, roll me a d6. Because you've got lost 1 man dead, if you roll a 1, it's him. If you had 2 men dead, if you rolled a 1 or 2, it would be him. Okay, so ooh, I'm enjoying this. Right. However, so he takes the hit, but the good thing, unlike your cast of thousands, your normal soldiers, this guy needs to roll a dice to see what the effect is. So he might be dead, but he might be wounded, or he might just be knocked out and incapacitated by the blast.
Okay.
So roll the dice and we'll see what it is. And the answer is he's wounded. That's a light wound, and that means whereas before he had 2 points of command initiative, he's now only got 1.
Right.
So he's not able to do that national characteristic trait, that machine gewehr.
Yep.
What we do need you to do is roll a dice, and this is for your force morale. We don't take lots of morale tests in the game, but it's really only at key moments when really bad things happen.
Yep.
And having a squad leader wounded is a really bad thing.
Okay.
So roll the dice, and we'll see what the effect is.
6.
Right, you rolled a 6. So looking on the bad things happen table, a junior leader wounded, that's 2 points. If you rolled anything less, it would have been 1 point or maybe even no points for that. So your force morale drops to 8.
Yeah.
Now that's pretty good for me because I only started on 8, so that gives us a bit of parity there. Okay. I'm looking at my other command dice. There's nothing I want to do with them at the moment because I'm quite happy hitting you hard with my tanks to try and blow some holes in you while I keep my men fresh. So think of this as a squad leader as a platoon leader who sent 1 squad forward, and he's probably hiding over here in this field going, let the tanks get up there and do the damage. So you roll me your command dice, please, and we'll see what you get.
All right, let's have a look then. Come on.
Oh,
Better.
now that's an interesting one, because you've rolled 2 6s.
Yep.
It means that the next, you get this phase with these dice here.
That's right.
But it means that the next phase of play is yours. So it's kind of, it's not a double turn, because of course you've needed to roll 2 6s.
Yep.
So it's a turn and a bit.
Yeah.
But it's an opportunity to do something that you're not certain is going to happen. But so
Yeah.
you've got 2 3s and a 1, so you could bring on, you could activate an existing junior leader.
Yep.
You could bring on a team.
Yep.
Or you could bring on, I don't know if you've got a support option like any tanks. Did you choose any support of that type? Oh.
Right, what
Is this the point where I don't like it?
Yeah. But,
Okay.
but not yet.
Right.
I'm going to
okay.
drag that particular suffering out a bit.
Right.
What I will do
Yeah.
is, because I'm certain that I have the next phase,
Yeah.
I'm a bit confident.
Right.
So I'm going to use the 1 to activate a team.
Ah.
And I have a Panzer team.
Oh. Right.
And I have a Panzer team that have been looking at this piece of real estate for quite a while and thinking, that's got a nice bathroom, Hans. We should move into it. It's got a good view of the road.
Okay.
So that's what I'll be doing.
Right. Okay.
So let's bring in...
So I guess you're going to fire these guys, aren't you?
I have a feeling I will, yeah.
Okay, well, let's have a look at the strike and the range of a Panzer, because the Panzer doesn't cover the whole table, but it can cover quite some distance. So,
Shall I place them?
yeah, you place them where you want to fire from.
Okay, so I'm thinking, because they can be within 6 inches of this jump-off
They
point?
can be within 6 inches
Right,
of that
you've got my
jump-off point.
tape
Yeah.
measure. Have I lost the tape measure? Oh, they're over there.
Okay, right. Oh, I've nicked it from you.
He's nicked it from me on purpose too.
Yeah.
You see. So 6 inches from the jump-off point brings me to about there. Can they see through the fences and stuff if they were sat there?
Yeah,
or-
I think that's perfectly reasonable to maybe kind of open the gate a bit and place them there.
Yeah. So let's just chuck you guys in there.
Okay, now Panzer close range of 9 inches. Effective range 24 inches, and long range of 48 inches. So it's good. It's a big old weapon. It's a good tool.
So what
But
are we from here?
If you are hitting me, I reckon I'm partially obscured there.
I would
If
give
you
you
kind
that.
of deployed in the middle of the road in a hugely brave gesture.
In a suicidal gesture
Yeah.
of we will win.
So
We're at about 15 inches here.
right,
so
fine. So you're in effective range. You need to hit there. You need to hit with 7, and its effective range adds 1 to that, so that's 8.
Okay.
So you need, and that's on 2 dice.
On
so you
2
need
dice.
to roll me 2 dice, and you need to get an 8.
Okay. No problem.
Oh, not only is that no problem, but you've hit a weak point in my armour with a double 6, which means you're going to get extra strike dice, which is going to be painful, because you'll be pleased to know that your strike dice are already at 13, and my armour is only 7. My armour's only,
So I have 13 dice to roll against your...
you do,
oh,
yeah.
Wow.
It's my armour value. So you're looking at hitting 5s and 6s.
7.
And if you go in the main rules, you'll find that in the arsenal for each nation, you'll see that you've got all those weapons and those statistics listed.
Yeah.
So you just simply have to look at that, and that tells you what you're doing. So I'm looking at my Sherman here, and it tells me that I've got an armour of 6.
Okay.
It's an opposed roll,
Yeah.
but I roll 6 dice, and you roll 13 normally, but because you've hit a weak spot on that double 6, you'll roll 15 dice looking for 5s and 6s.
Yeah. Do you want me to roll this first?
I'd rather you didn't roll it at all, actually.
will.
Yeah, roll away, you roll yours.
All right. Gather them all up here.
This is a punchy weapon, which is why you really shouldn't send tanks forward without infantry covering them. But there we go, I took the risk because I thought I was going to be really dominating the table with that fire.
I'm just going to...
Reroll, yeah, okay. So how many 5s and 6s you got in there?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay. 4. Well, it could have been better.
It could have been
but
better, yeah.
it could have been worse. So let's see what I roll. So I need to roll 6 dice, and I'm looking for 5s and 6s.
None.
Okay, fine. Well, if you beat me by 3, my tank would be destroyed.
Yeah.
If you beat me by 4, as that tank explodes. And if there are any infantry within 4 inches, which there are, bits of the engine go crashing into them, and we roll to see how many hits we get on those guys. So I'm going to take a roll for that. So that was a particularly effective, fortunately only 1 hit, and fortunately I'm in cover, so I'll roll for the effect of that. What have I rolled? A 4?
4, yeah.
Okay, so those guys are in hard cover, so that doesn't affect them. But that's definitely gone bang.
Yep.
So I'm going to kind of skew the turret like that, just to show that.
Oh, we don't have any cotton wool, do we?
We don't have any cotton wool, no. Okay, right. Well, it's more than a shame. Right, anything else you're going to do in this phase?
I still have 2 3s.
You've still got 2 3s you can use, yeah.
Yep. I wish I had more Panzers.
Well, I wish I had more tanks.
Yeah. All right. So for one of my 3s, I think I'm going to take another junior leader and his squad. I think.
Okay. Yeah.
I do have 1 more. So.
Yeah. Okay. So where are you going to put those guys?
Right. Just let me
so they're emerging from the special box of troops. Right.
Pull a silly face. I think I'm going to back up my Panzerschreck team.
Yeah, which is a great thing to do, because I know there are troops in that area. At the moment, I can kind of single out the Panzerschreck, but if those guys are in there, I'm not sure who's who.
So I have a feeling these guys are going to... The MG team is going to be in the building.
Okay, fine. Well, these guys, unfortunately for me, are not on the roof. They're down here, so they can't even really see them because they need to be up against that hedge.
So the rest of my guys will come in, and I think I'm going to...
But before we finish your turn, we mustn't forget something really important.
What's that?
It's called a bad things happen roll.
Yeah.
For me, because my tank has been zapped.
So I'm going to...
So are those guys in the garden?
They're in the garden. The junior leader is with the MG team.
Right, fine. So let me roll that dice. It's a support option that's being killed, so this is a bad thing to happen to me. I've rolled a 6, that makes it even worse. So my force morale drops by 2. So I'm down to 6. I'm looking a bit worried here, because I'm okay on 6, I'm okay on 5, but if my force morale drops to 4, it means I'll lose one of my command dice, and I desperately don't want to do that. So you're really putting the pressure on me here.
So I still have a 3 to use.
You do.
And...
so you can't bring on another squad. I know you can't, because you haven't got one.
Have anymore. Yeah. I still have a junior leader that's hanging around, which isn't on the field.
Right.
I can't use the 3 to bring him on.
You can't bring the senior leader on, no.
No, but I have a junior that hasn't come on.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, because the first one was it them.
Okay.
The squad.
Oh no, they always bring their junior leader with them. When you roll a 2, the squad comes on with the junior leader.
Then I left one off the field.
Right. Okay. Well, pop him back on then.
So he's with this lot.
Yeah, that's right.
So.
When you roll a 2, the squad can deploy on the table, and they bring their junior leader with them, but he just can't tell them to do anything.
So when you roll the 3, he can come on and tell them
what to do. Yeah, that's right. That's the difference. Okay,
right.
So your phase again,
My phase again.
Ooh, so you really seized the moment there.
I was lucky with the tank kill. I'm good with the tank kill.
Well, do you know what? When you only rolled that many hits, I thought I'm going to save this, but I rolled so badly. Okay, right. 5. So 1 on your chain of command dice. That's up to 4.
That has me up to 4.
Yeah. Now, when you get a full chain of command dice with all 6 points, you can start using that. You can use that to interrupt play. You can use that to end a turn. So, for example, if you had one of your leaders was knocked out.
Yep.
You could use that to end the turn, and a leader who'd been knocked out would actually then get back involved in the battle. If I called in a mortar barrage on you, the mortars, we don't have mortars on the table in this, we just represent them with a forward observer team, because the mortars are some distance away.
Yeah.
If I called a mortar barrage on you, you could play the turn end to play the chain of command dice to end the turn, and that would mean that I'd have to see whether that mortar barrage kept coming, or if they said, sorry, that's your lot.
Yep.
So there's a number of options. You could also, actually, funnily enough, have used it to ambush using the Panzerschreck team.
Yeah.
You could have popped them in the road, had a completely clear shot. You could have deployed them within 12 inches of the deployment point rather than 6 inches, and then at the end of the phase they could have popped off. So it just represents those guys popping up and delivering that big punch, and then where have they gone? Nobody. It's you read about it all the time in accounts of
Just
battle.
all of a sudden, there was a Panzerfaust or a Panzerschreck.
Yeah, that's right.
That was it.
Yeah, that's the right story of my life. Right. Okay.
So back at the dice. So we have the 5
dice.
which we've used.
Yeah. Now, it kind of looks like a poor roll, that 1, 1, 1, 2, but the good thing about low rolls is you can actually put them together to make whatever you like.
Yeah.
What you can't do is add them up to make a 5 or a 6, but you could make that into a 3, or that into a 3, or that into a 4, or take it as 2 1s, because remember, you've got a squad. One of your squads is comprised of 2 teams, so you could use the 2 1s to activate
a team.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Both teams in the squad.
Yeah. So what I'm thinking is I want to try and start putting some pressure on you.
Yeah.
Some pressure where I haven't seen anything yet.
Okay.
I want you to feel like you need to do something in a certain part of the map.
Right.
And in particular, I'm thinking this area.
Okay, yeah.
Because you have a deployment, you have a jump off point here.
That's right.
And I have a good amount of infantry here to put some pressure on that. I have a dead tank to not worry about.
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking is I'm going to use my first one, so I'll use one of them, to activate the Panzerschreck team.
Yeah.
Can I get them to run?
You can, as long as they're not going over any obstacles. So, for example, if you wanted to run them over that hedge, they can't. They're not race horses. They don't run over hedges. But there is a gate here, so you can ignore the gate. Pretend it's not there, and there's a gap in the hedge there. If that's the direction you're going in, the way you run is you roll 3d6. Problem is, it gives you a bit of disorder, and you take a point of shock for running. Yeah. And the other problem is that they don't have a leader with them, so they're very susceptible to operating on their own. Yeah.
So if I maybe don't run, would I use a 2d6 as a regular move?
Yeah, 2d6.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, roll your 2d6, and we'll look at the options then on the table, and I'll tell you what you can do, and that will give an example of how it works. So, 12. Now. So, if we look on the table here, we can see these guys here. They could run 12 inches. Now, actually, 12 inches is quite handy because you could run out of that gate, down the lane, into there, and there. Yeah. Or you could decide you want to cross, or say move. You could cross the hedge there, and what you do is, when crossing a hedge, you roll 2 dice and you take the lower one off. So that would get you to there. Yeah. But so probably if you want to push down there, you might want to go there, or if you just want to cross the hedge, you can go there.
I think we'll get into this hedge.
Yeah, I must admit, you can see why they called it a tank fist, because that really punched the hell out of my Sherman.
It really did.
And that is going to mean that as you rightly say, I'm going to need to do something with infantry to protect this guy, because my Shermans are what I was hoping to be the ace up my sleeve. We saw just the one shot there, the damage that can do. Yeah. But okay, so is that the end of your phase?
No, that's me spending my first 1.
Oh no!
Because I have a 2 and a 1 left to spend.
Fine, you do.
So, what would I like to do at this stage? I think I'm going to get the infantry team there here. I think I'm going to get them to come
moving forward.
Well.
Right. Okay. So they're probably going to have to cross the fence. So roll 2d6 and take the lower dice off. If you roll double 1, you just move 2 inches up. So you still move 6 inches.
Still move 6.
So these guys are kind of going to go over there like that. Let's see how far that is.
6.
Yeah. So you're pushing on down and putting pressure on, because if you capture this jump off point here, that would be another bad thing happening, and that would be a force morale roll for me, and I'm kind of already in a bit of trouble in that respect already. Yeah. Okay.
So that's another 1 used, so I have a 2 left.
Yeah. Now that would allow you to activate a squad. Yep. So possibly the best thing to do is to activate these guys and get firing.
I feel that's right. So these guys up here are going to fire. So we're going to take the MG and the rifles together, yeah?
Yeah, you can do. So the MG, we know that your junior leader there can't do the machine gun there because he's wounded, so he's just too dazed to direct fire. So they will fire 8 dice for the machine gun, and you've got 4 riflemen there, so that would be 12 dice in total. And it's at short range, so again, 4s, 5s and 6s. Are you firing on these guys here?
Yes,
or
same target as before.
Okay, right.
So 12.
Oh, where you go, yep, 12 it is.
I'll just throw that back in.
Right, fine. Okay. So that's... Right, how many we got?
4, 5s and 6s?
Yep.
1, 2,
looks like quite a few.
3, 4, 5.
5, okay. And again, you get a choice whether to put it on the guy. Well, actually, because they're within 4 inches, we kind of treat them as the same team anyway.
Yeah.
But so we'll roll the 5 dice for those guys, and they're in light cover, so that counts as 1 point of shock. So we'll put that on there. Right. Okay.
Okay.
That it?
That's it.
Right. So I'm going to roll my
Over to you.
command dice to see what I get. Okay, 1 6. Ooh.
You have options again, though. You know, it's not.
I have got options.
Yeah.
I'm going to use that 2, the first 2, to deploy a squad. Now I'm going to put these guys here from my jump off point, within 6 inches of that.
Yep.
So that's going to allow me to deploy there and open fire. So I'm going to put my BAR team here, and we're going to open fire initially on your Panzer team, because we really don't like those guys, quite understandably, based on what's happened so far.
Oh, absolutely.
So I can't get all these guys into a firing position. So what we're going to do is we're going to fire the 3 dice with the BAR. Let me take these command dice out, and I'm being careful not to knock them over because it's important what I rolled. 3 dice for the BAR, and 2 guys there with it, so that's the BAR team. That's 5 dice, and we're under 18, so it's 4s, 5s and 6s, so that's 2 hits there. Yep. And I'm just going to give myself another 4 dice from the other guys, because we've got to stay within 6 inches of that deployment point, so that's another 2. So that's 4 hits. There's nobody there within 4 inches of the Panzerfaust team, so it's just 4 hits on them. So roll me 4 dice. You're in the open, so 3s and 4s shock, and 5s and 6s kill. Oh, just 1 point of shock. That was a bit lucky.
Yeah, quite surprised.
We'll put a shock marker on there. Oh, that's a bit worrying. Well, the good thing I feel there is I don't think you're going to move up here and get a shot at my tank.
No.
So I'm going to combine. I had a 2 and a 1, which I'm going to combine together and activate this tank, who's going to pile in 6 dice of HE onto your position over there.
Okay.
Because I'm really trying to do some damage to you there. And that's a good roll. I've got 4 hits there again. So let's roll for 2 hits on your machine gun team, and 2 hits on the rifle team as well. So we'll roll separately. Let me just get my dice out the way.
Okay.
Yep. 2 on the rifle.
2 on the
team.
rifles. That was 2 4s.
That's 2 4s. So that's 2 points of shock on those guys.
Yep.
So they're obviously climbing behind the wall as the shell comes screaming in.
Yep.
Yeah.
And 2 for the MG team.
MG team. Yeah. Okay.
4 and a 3.
That's another 2 points of shock on there.
That's a lot of shock.
That's a lot of shock. So you can see we've got 8 men there with 5 points of shock. They're okay at the moment, but it's getting close. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Using the 4, I'm going to deploy my platoon sergeant onto the table, and he's going to come out here joining this group, and he's going to take off the 2 points of shock. He's going to order this guy to hop back over the fence, which he easily does, and he just reintegrates into that team. He brings his shock with him, as it was, to be honest with you, because he was so close, he'd actually barely left that team anyway. And that's the end of my phase.
Right.
So I've really tried to get tidy things up a little bit here.
You
put
have
the pressure on, and that platoon sergeant stabilised that position. So you need to roll your command dice to see what you can do.
All right.
I need you to roll something pretty poor here.
You need me to roll all 6s, yeah?
Yeah. Well, Okay, and that was a 2.
Average.
Right. So 5. That's on your chain of command dice. So you've got a full chain of command dice now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that means that you can use that at some point.
I don't think it was. It was
was it on the 4?
It was a 4 to a 5.
Okay, so put it up to a 5.
4 to a 5.
Okay.
So that's
that. Right.
Options. I think it's about time some senior leaders came onto the field.
Okay, so you've only got 1 of them in your platoon, so you could activate them on a 2 and a 2, add them together to make a 4.
Yep, and I'll do that.
Okay, and where's he going to come on?
Oh, he's going to have to come in with where all the pain is at the minute.
Right, okay.
I think.
So yeah, because this guy being wounded, his capacity for rallying shock is limited, so he could take 3 points of shock off, or he could get 2 off and get them to fire.
He's going to take 2 off and get them to fire, I think.
Okay, right. That's probably the best way of doing it. So 2 off reduces them to 3 points of shock. So 2 on that team will mean that they lose a dice.
Yep.
So that's 7.
Yep.
And then those 4 there, they're down to 1, so they don't lose anything. So that's just 11 dice.
Okay.
So keep those there. That's fine.
So I've spent
the 2 and the 2 you've spent.
I've spent the 2s. And I have a 1 and a 3 left.
You got 1 and a 3, yeah.
Right, so 11 dice.
Yeah, hitting on 4s, 5s and 6s. Good thing about having a senior leader deployed into that position is that he's there and able to rally that shock off. The bad thing is he could be a target and could get killed.
Yeah.
But
the Germans need to risk it, though.
Yeah, and both of us are kind of keen to get that right. Okay, away you roll. 4s, 5s and 6s. Ooh, big roll.
That's not
1,
bad.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ooh, right. Okay. Well, again, because these guys have gone here back to there, you've got a situation here where you could choose. These guys are in light cover and these guys are in heavy cover. Now you can choose to put all of the hits on the guys in the lesser cover, the ones who are more exposed, or you could decide to split it between the two. It's up to you. I'm
going to put it all onto the lighter cover.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to hit my force morale, because you're more likely to do damage and you're more likely to hurt them. So in there, oh, look at that.
Wow.
2 dead and 3 points of shock.
Yeah.
Now what's really worrying me there is that I've got a couple of leaders there. Let's see if we roll under 2. We do. So one of my leaders has been hit.
Yeah.
I'm going to roll a 1, 2 or 3. It's the junior leader. Oh no, sorry, the junior leader's there. So it's definitely my main man. So let's see the result. He's dead. Well, that's a rotten thing to do. I thought I was a guest. Okay, so you've hit my junior leader. Before I do anything, so I don't forget, I'm going to roll for bad things happen, and believe you me, that's a very bad thing that's going to happen. So we'll roll the dice and see what we get there.
3.
Okay, senior leader killed is 2 points off my force morale. So next time I'm activated,
you're on 4.
I'm on 4 dice.
And that means you've lost 1, yeah? Does that mean you've lost 1 of your command dice this turn?
Yeah.
This next phase?
It means that, when I next roll, I'm going to be rolling 4
dice.
yeah.
Ooh.
And there was another guy dead there.
Yep.
And we put 3 points of shock on. So that's double trouble, because not only have we now got 5 guys with 4 points of shock.
Yep.
If they get more shock than men, so another couple of points, they're going to be pinned, so their firing will be halved. But more importantly, I can't rally it off because that senior leader's there. Bad situation all round for me. Okay, what are you doing next? Don't tell me you're going to bring on a tiger. You've got a 3 and a 1.
I have a 3 and a 1.
So you could activate a team.
Yep.
So you could activate the Panzer Faust team if you wanted.
Yep.
You could activate the 3, you could activate a section. You can't activate a team with a 3, so you couldn't activate these guys because they're now in 2 teams, because they're more than 4 inches apart. Or if you had a tank, you could bring on a tank, or it's entirely up to you. Okay, right, a tank. Well, they actually deploy from the only good thing for me is they deploy from the table edge, and they can come on within 6 inches of that.
So he's over here at the minute. You can see him on front camera. I don't have an angle to catch him here, but
now if you have an option, you could actually deploy him 6 inches away and put him there, but keeping him on the road probably the wise thing to do.
Yeah.
Right. Well, fortunately for me, he's at the back, but
so is your surviving tank then.
Yeah, I know. That's scary because that is a beast. Right, okay, my phase, I think.
Your phase. I think you've earned it to roll your phase.
Yeah, my 4 dice now. Oh, not great. Well, I've only got 1 point on my chain of command dice, so that goes up to 3. So those 5s are a bit jammed tomorrow for me, rather than jammed today. Well, I've got to put pressure on you, so I'm going to have to use the 3 to activate that tank. In a way, I'd really love to get that whole squad to fire there, but I'm actually going to get the BAR team to fire there. Yeah. So that will be 5 dice there. So I'll fire the BAR on the Panzerfaust because I want to get rid of that because it's worrying me badly. And I get 4 hits. Now that should be good, but it didn't do me any good last time. So
they're all 4 now.
Surely luck can't. They're both dead.
Yeah, they're dead.
Now that's a great result for me because I really need to affect your force morale. So you need to roll for bad things happen because that is a team dead. So I'll check my play sheet here. Team wiped out. 1 or 2 is no effect. 3, 4, 5 or 6 is just 1 point because it's a team. If it was a section, it would be more.
It'd be worse.
Yeah. So roll the dice. Let's see what happens. Oh. They were clearly quite unpopular, those guys, because nobody's mourning their passing. Right, okay.
They just looked over and seen 2 bodies and went,
Right, we're going to roll 6 dice with that HE. Oh, only 2 hits.
Only 2.
So that's 1 and 1. So 1 on your rifle team over in this orchard.
Yep.
And
so
1 for that.
Rifle team.
Is 4, that's a point of shock.
Okay.
And 1 on the machine gun
MG
team. Is nothing.
Is nothing.
So all in all, a pretty tragic round of fire for me.
Yeah.
Good result in one way, but I really wanted to hit hard here because they've got 4 shock on them. If I could just
just push it a bit more.
Push it a bit more, yeah. And that, if I could pin them, because the good thing for me is that I can see all of your forces on the table.
Yeah.
And I have still got a squad spare. So if I can whittle away at them, I can kind of go where you're not. Right, you'll go.
All right. Let's try it now and see what happens. 4, 4, 2, and a 1 and a 6. Well, that's not doing anything anyway. So a 1.
Now, interesting thing here is, well, your senior leader's over there, isn't he? Yeah.
Yep.
So he's over there. You haven't got 2 senior leaders because, as a late war German, all your quality leaders died in Russia. So we can kind of throw that one away because you can't add a 4 to a 1 and make 5. You can only add up to make the 1, 2, 3, 4 the real unit command dice.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do to maximise this hand?
Well, I know I want to activate the senior leader, but I also want to get some infantry up.
Yeah.
And I think, as you've just denoted there, I think I'm going to have to get this MG team moving up and get the junior leader with it.
Yeah, interesting point. As long as he's within 6 inches of them, because I was just checking that, so he could move them up, and then he'll have enough, his second command initiative, to get them to move. Yeah. And you can kind of, I don't know, get them in cover or get them moving.
So I activate him, which will bring the MG team out with him,
Yeah, well, they'll probably, it's a bit of rubble, so they'll roll 2d6 and take the lowest one off for climbing over an obstacle.
Same with the junior leader?
So, and he'll go with them, he just goes with them automatically.
Oh, he'll just follow them.
Yeah, if he's acting independently, he can roll 3d6 and move as fast as he likes. That takes one of his command initiatives, though. But so they'll just go 2.
They'll go 2.
So the 2 will pop them over the wall.
Across the wall.
And handily enough, that means that the junior leader can use his second command initiative to shout at those guys because he's within 6. Yeah.
Yep. So they'll now do.
So if you, I mean, what are you thinking about doing with them?
I think I'm just a regular move forward.
Right.
I think just 2d6.
Okay. Yeah. 2d6 forward.
Yeah. I'm just going to roll it here and just shout it out.
Right.
6 inches.
6 inches. Right. So push them forward 6 inches.
What I want is to get them happily into cover.
Right, no problem at all. So because you rolled 6, you don't have to go that far because you're clearly telling him move up to those barrels, move up to those obstacles.
Yep.
What you couldn't say is I want you to move precisely to that blade of grass there.
Yes.
Which is not really a very notable point. Okay, so that's good. So good play from them. Anything else to do in this phase? You've got your senior leader, haven't you?
I have the senior leader to activate.
So why don't you take 2 points of shock off?
Yep,
and then with his third one, get them to fire, because that reduces their shock to a point. They've just got 1 on each team, which doesn't reduce firing.
Yep.
So that's pretty good. So you get 8, 12.
Yep. So 12.
Yeah.
Okay.
If the enemy were within 12 inches, the senior leader could use his submachine gun, but they're not.
Yeah. That's fine. 12 shots.
Yeah, and these guys are in the open, so they're going to feel that pain.
No, they're not.
Not in the open, they're in light cover, but okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, maybe they're not going to feel that much pain.
It might be enough.
We'll find out when we roll these exciting dice. Yeah, they're going to feel the pain there, right? So that's 1 dead and 1 point of shock. Now, interesting point. Having been 5 men with 4 points of shock, they're now 4 men with 5 points of shock. That would normally pin them if they were on their own. Take them out, take those guys out of the equation, and they're pinned.
Yeah.
But because the other half of the squad is within 4, they know that they've got some mutual support. So that doesn't pin, because you count the whole thing as sharing that between them.
Yeah. So they're not healthy, but they're not...
Well, these guys are not healthy. They're going to lose 2 dice when they fire, and there's only 4 men.
Yeah.
But they are not breaking, because they know they've got their squad leader and their colleagues in that building there.
So you have phase dice then.
My phase, right. 4 dice again. Oh, 2 on my chain of command dice. I still don't have a full chain of command dice.
You're racking it up, though.
I've got a 4, which is a senior leader.
Yeah.
And I've got a 1, which is a team. Now, the thing that is troubling me here is that if I bring my senior leader on, at the moment I've got 1 senior leader off the table, and he is at the back controlling the troops coming on. So the squad that I've got not on the table, he's back there and he's waiting to pick the moment for deploying them. If he comes forward and leaves them back there, getting those guys to deploy onto the table becomes a bit harder.
Yeah.
It's a 50-50 chance whether they come or not, because he's going, can you please move up? And with all the din of the battle going on, he's losing a bit of control. However, at the same time, I really want to get these guys firing and effective again. So I've got to do it. I've got to take that chance. So I'm going to bring my lieutenant on in this case, because he's Americano. He'll immediately take 2 points of shock off, and he'll say to the whole squad, fire.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got 3 for the BAR and 2 for the men in the BAR team, so that's 5 dice. And then we've got 4 men there, but they've got 3 points of shock, so they take 1 dice off for that. So we'll add that all together and we'll roll those dice, and we're hitting on 4s, 5s and 6s. So it's pretty good, actually.
That's
5.
actually very effective.
So this is where, again, we've seen it, that the senior leaders are coming on and they're restoring the situation. This is all about leadership and how to make that happen.
They're shoring it up.
Yeah, they really are, and he's getting these guys. Imagine him next turn, if he's activated before you can put any shock on, he's got these guys almost, you know, back to up to fighting strength.
So you gave me 5 hits over there.
I did. So you 2 on each team.
Yep.
You choose where you put the odd, because you're the odd hit because you're behind.
The odd will go on to the rifles.
Absolutely correct. Again, the German doctrine is to the rifle team to protect the machine gun team. Ooh, that's a big hit.
That's
so 1 dead.
Yep.
And 2 points of shock. So interesting. 3 guys, 3 shock in that team.
Yep.
What are we going to do here?
The MG team's going to take the other 2 then.
Yeah.
Oh, wait,
no effect. Now your senior leader, you've got placed with the machine gun team.
Yep.
So he didn't have to test for the rifle team.
Yep.
Right. Okay. Ooh, hotting up.
It is.
Okay. So whose turn is it anyway? You're going now. I've done my lot.
Okay.
So it's your phase. So roll your 5 command dice. We'll see what comes out of these. Ooh, okay. So interesting.
Yeah.
That does mean you've got a full chain of command dice, and you're starting to amass points towards another one.
I'm on 7.
And that means that the next phase is mine. So really, you've just got 3. So it's a quick phase. So you can use 1 and 2, or you can use 3. So that could be, you could activate a team, or that team, or you could activate a section, which would be these guys, or you could activate your tank, putting them together as a 3.
The tank's going to have to move up.
I think you're probably right. You want to put the pressure on here. If you roll 1d6, you probably get a view of this building.
Probably.
And then you can fire your main gun if you've only moved 1d6. If you move 2d6, you can only fire your machine guns. If you move 3d6, you can't fire anything. So it's probably a good idea
to try the 1d6.
Try the 1d6. If you fail, you can always roll again. Roll the second dice. Well, there you go, 5 inches. So that's a great one. So forward you go, 5 inches.
So 5 inches brings me to...
Great, yeah. And you've got a clear line of sight of the building. Let me just explain how this works. These guys are shooting out of that window.
Yeah.
They have got a 90-degree arc of fire out of that window, so they can shoot at anybody in that 90 degrees. And any infantry in that 90 degrees can shoot back at them.
Okay.
So if you had infantry over here, they couldn't shoot on them, and I couldn't shoot on you. But the good thing about a high velocity 75mm shell is it doesn't rely on windows.
Yeah.
So all you need to be able to do is to see the building. And what we'll do is we'll look up once again in our arsenal table for the Germans here, and we'll see that a Panzer V Panther has got an HE strike of 5, slightly lower than the Shermans actually, because these have got a lower velocity gun which is better at applying high explosives than the high velocity, which is really a tank killer. But nevertheless, 5 hits, reducing cover, could hurt. So roll the dice, 4s, 5s and 6 to hit. Okay.
One miss.
One miss, right, good, okay. Now,
that's 4
hits.
4 hits.
On that building. That's and it's
a 5 and a
reduced
6.
cover to light cover. Fortunately, had that reduced cover to open, I'd have been in real trouble.
Yep.
So that's 1 man dead and 1 point of shock. Let's roll to see if it's anybody important. This is where I really don't want a 1. It's not anybody important, fortunately. But these guys are getting whittled down now. That whole squad that started at 12 men is down to 6 guys and their sergeant.
Yep.
So they're not looking healthy.
No.
Right. Okay. Right. So my phase.
It's
now.
your phase.
My phase. Yep. On we move. Ah, the record's stuck. Right. 3, 2, 1. Okay. So I've got a few options there. I'm gonna. So it's really tempting. This is this is the command decision thing. Do I use the 3 and pump HE into here, hoping that I'm going to destroy your platoon leader and hit your force morale? Or do I combine the 3 and the 1 and make a 4, which means I can rally these guys here? It's a risk, isn't it?
Yep.
Either way, I've got to put, but I feel I need to put pressure on you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the 3 for the tank.
Okay.
And he's going to fire. I'm going to take the 2 to fire this squad, the whole squad, even though it's got shock on it. And I'm going to take the 1 to fire the BAR.
Okay. So you're having to really work on your resources to try and pump out as much as you
absolutely right.
can.
I can't do as much with my command as I could, because we're all getting a bit. Some of the guys have got their heads down; they're not fighting as well. So firing over here with the BAR, and pretty good firing with the BAR too.
Yep, 4 hits.
So that's 4 hits over there, but you're in light cover. So 4s and 5s will be shock, 6s will be kill. This is where you need to roll 4 6s to make the game fair.
Well, I did.
Nearly.
Almost.
You tried, just not hard enough. Okay, so 1 man dead. There are no leaders there, so we don't roll for that.
Yeah.
So we'll just take 1 guy off, and we'll put 3 points of shock on. I'm not unhappy with that result, to be honest.
I'm sure you're not.
Now I'm going to save the big tank to last because that's fun, and I'm going to fire these 4 guys and 5 guys and a BAR. So that would make 8 dice, but I'm lost. There's 3 on that, which loses a dice, and 1 on that, which doesn't. You don't combine them; they don't make 4. So that's going to be 1 less. So let's roll them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8. That becomes 7. Right. Ooh, that's good. Good shooting this turn. I might be, you know, my command resources might be depleted, but that's 6 hits on you guys. And let's get some damage here, and then I can finish you off with the big tank gun. So 3 on these guys, the rifle team?
Yep, so 3 on the rifle team.
Yeah. We like that. 1 off and another point of shock.
Yep.
And 3 on the machine gun team, and this is where your leaders are. 1 dead and a point of shock. No, but let's roll to see who's dead. Is it a leader? If you roll a 1, it is. It isn't.
Not.
Interestingly, already we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys with 5 points of shock.
Yep.
And now Herman the Sherman is going to win the day for me. I'm confident.
Okay,
with
go for
a screaming round of low velocity HE fire, and it's 3 hits. It's a shame he wasn't the one only missing with 1, but 3 hits. So where are you going to put them?
2 on the rifles.
Yeah, 2 on the rifles.
So 2 on the rifles.
And that's a point of shock.
Another point of shock.
And 1 on the machine gun team. This is where we want some damage.
3.
Nothing. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1, 2, 6 men. So they are pinned.
They are. They
are pinned. What we normally do is we normally use one of these markers to show pin, but we're using these to show shock today because they're more visual on the camera. So we'll just have to remember that they're pinned. But that means they're going to be firing with half dice, and they're also going to be unable to move. Right. Okay. Well, that's not a bad phase for me. So on you go. Your phase.
He's starting to pull this back, and I don't like it. All right, that was a 1.
That was a 1, right. So a 6 and a 5. A 5 puts 1 on your chain of command.
Yep, so I'm up to...
And a 4, that's a senior leader. So he can start rallying off the shot, which is probably a good thing.
Yeah, but I'm also thinking of maybe starting to let the reserves come up and send these guys back.
You can't move them, they're pinned.
While they're pinned, yeah.
What you could be thinking about here is rallying shock off and then ending a turn so they'll become unpinned. So you could, if you wanted, let's just say theoretically, take 3 points of shock off and then end the turn, and they would become unpinned. The problem is that you risk it then because you can't move until I've fired on you again. But it's just an option, and that's one of the things that you can do with that turn end with that chain of command dice. So it's important to... You can keep that up your sleeve, because the other positive thing for you, as we saw with these guys here, is because they're pinned, they're now in hard cover, so it's going to be harder for me to hit them, because they're literally heads down and weeping, hopefully.
Right, well then what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to hold on to the chain of command dice. I am, however, going to bring up my other section. Okay, now, interesting thing here. He's within 9 inches, so he can shout. He's a level 3 leader, so his command range is 9 inches. If he was a level 2, it would be 6 inches. Nice and easy to remember. So he can shout, hands, knees, bumsy daisy, move up. So should I activate the senior commander and shout at them to
so that would be one of his command initiatives, and then he could take 2 points of shock off. Which ain't a bad thing to do.
That's not bad at all.
Kind of don't bother getting them to fire, because the firing dice are so rubbish. So
let's shout at them to move them up.
So they will, remember, they can't run when they're crossing an obstacle, so they roll 2 dice, take the lower one off.
Okay, so let's just roll the 2 dice here. I'll just call it up.
Okay,
they move 3 inches.
So you're moving up. Good thing for you is I can't see past the hedge anyway. So on you come, and in the next phase, in a way that's kind of done you a great favour, because in the next phase you can probably use 1 dice to move and then fire at half effect. So you'll move up and fire before I can react to you, which is, with the amount of shock that I'm amassing, not a bad thing. So that's your 4.
That's the 4.
So you've got a 2 and a 1. Now you could combine that and make a 3. Or you can think about doing other things.
I think I will. I think I'll bring the Panther up a bit more.
Okay, so you could just roll 1d6 and still fire, because the Panther's got two actions. So
well, we'll bring him up another 1d6.
You could sit there and fire him twice.
Firing him twice.
I thought you might say that. So he's got 2 actions.
So he'll fire twice into this building, because he should be in line of sight anyway, right?
Okay. However, sorry, I've given you some wrong advice there, because you can't activate the main gun position twice in a turn. So you could fire twice in terms of firing the main gun and firing the whole machine gun. Was kind of, I didn't explain myself.
You can fire 2 weapons, but not 2 of the same type.
You can't fire the main gun and the coaxial from the same position, but you can fire the main gun and the whole machine gun.
Okay.
Which would kind of be quite a lot of dice, but the whole machine gun would be at long range and wouldn't be reducing cover, but it would be putting the pressure on.
Well, it may actually just help.
So why not fire the main gun, see what damage you do, and then make the decision, because you can then say move. So let's do that. 5 dice.
Okay, so 5.
Okay. So
that's okay.
3 hits. So I'll roll for those 3 hits. Remember, we're reducing cover there. Oh, a dead and a shock. Now we've got a leader in there. Is it a leader? We roll the dice for that. It's not. It's a dead and a shock. Now we're getting to the point where I've got 5 points of shock and, well, 7 men because of the senior leader. So it might be that the senior leader's presence is all that stops them from being pinned. Right, so do you want to now fire the machine gun, or do you want to move them up?
I'm going to fire the machine gun.
Six
as
dice.
much as I can do.
Yeah, you've got to put that pressure on. That's the thing is putting the pressure on and keeping applying that pressure, because these guys are really close.
Yep.
So 5s and 6s now because of the long range.
Nothing.
Oh, nothing.
Unfortunately.
Okay, but we're barreling through the phases of play now.
We are.
So on we go. And one of my chain of command dice, so I could end a turn now, and I've got a 4 for a senior leader who's definitely going to take the shock off there. And he's taken 2 points of shock off, so with his final action he's going to get them to fire, which is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dice there now.
Okay.
Oh no, it's not. It's 6 dice because of the shock. But nevertheless, 3 hits over on these guys.
Yep.
Right, so you're going to put presumably 2 on the rifle.
2 on the rifles and 1 on the MG.
Yeah.
As per.
Yeah.
So.
But remember, these guys count as in hard cover because they're still pinned, even though you've reduced some shock.
Yep.
So it's going to be 5s to shock now. And
2
6
hits
to
on
kill.
the rifles?
2 hits, yeah. Oh, still a man dead.
Still a man down.
And 1 hit on the machine gun team.
4.
Is
so another
that's
shot.
nothing.
Is that nothing?
Yeah, because you're now in heavy cover.
Yeah.
Right, okay. And I'm going to use that 3, so that's the 4 we use, and I'm going to use the 3 to pile on the pressure with the HE from the Sherman. And he's just hit with 2,
okay.
So that's 1 on each. So whilst they count as in heavy cover, that still takes it down to light cover.
Okay, so 1 on each.
1 on each.
All right, so rifle
is
1 dead.
Oh, man dead. So that team's actually gone.
Yep.
So we take the shock away with him.
MG.
Yeah. You
is also.
roll the dice to see if it's anybody important. You don't want to won. No. But that machine gun team's nearly gone.
Yep, we're not looking too healthy over there.
No.
At all.
Whew. Close. Right, I've still got a 3.
Yep. You gonna wrap them up with the Sherman? Oh, you just did, didn't you?
I just did. I'm going to fire the Sherman's machine guns though.
Yeah.
So I can do the same thing. So I'm firing 6 dice and I am hitting on 4s. Oh, that's better than your roll. 5 hits.
All on the MG team, isn't it?
All on the MG team because there's no other team there. So 5 hits, let's see. And if you get more than 1 kill, it's automatically going to be A leader.
5, yeah.
And then we're going to start rolling for your false morale because you've lost a team already. But let's see if you lose a section.
Was it 5?
5 hits.
5. Oh, God.
Heavy cover.
Oh, dead. 2 dead.
2 dead. So the machine gun's definitely gone.
Yep.
And one of the leaders, roll me a d6. 1, 2 or 3, it's a junior leader. And 4, 5 or 6, it's a senior leader. 4. So roll the dice to see what the effect is on him. He's lightly wounded, so he becomes a level 2 leader. So, some big testing to be done here, because those are bad things happening.
Yep.
So, rolling for the squad being wiped out. So, the whole squad wiped out, roll a dice for that. 1, 2 or 3, it's going to be 1 off your false morale. 4, 5 or 6, 2.
1.
Just 1.
Just 1.
And a senior leader wounded. Roll the dice for that.
5.
Is 2 points off your false morale for that. So you're down to 5.
Yep.
So it's neck and neck here, but you haven't lost any command dice yet.
Yep.
So you'll go. These guys, the leaders, whilst there was shock there, leaders are unshockable.
Yeah.
So they only count the effect of shock in the phase that they're in. So away we go.
So not bad. I've got another thing on my
6, 5, 4, 3, 2. It's nice and sequential.
Yeah, very much so. So what am I going to do? I have not the best situation going on over there.
No. And this is a bit of a mess because these 2 squads aren't together. The 2 teams aren't together.
Yeah, this is getting
and
a bit messy over
commanding 2 separate teams becomes a bit more difficult.
Yeah.
Because you need ones or you need the leader shouting and and he can't rally shock off them because he's not with them. So
yeah, exactly. So I have a 2.
Yeah.
And does that mean I can activate the junior leader?
No, the 3. You need a 3 to activate the junior leader.
Okay, so I'll use a 3 to activate the junior.
Yeah.
And he's going to have to come over here.
Right. Okay. Fine. Well,
he
can roll 3 dice.
Yeah.
Or a bit of a bonus for a leader. He can roll, but he's crossing a fence, so he rolls 2, and he takes the lower one off.
Right. So let's do that.
Yeah.
So
he
4.
goes 4.
Either way, he goes
So
4.
actually, he's in an interesting position there because he's halfway between the two. So he could now activate one or the other.
Yeah.
And the good thing for you is he is within 4 of them, so I can't just shoot at him. Because,
You can't target him.
Yeah, I can't target him now.
I think he's going to have to try. Do you think they could shoot over the heads?
They can definitely shoot down that column there.
Yep, they're going to have to open fire.
So they're going to fire with 8 dice.
Okay.
Right.
Self-fire with 8 against the BAR team, I assume.
That's right. Well, because the BAR team and those guys are within 4, the hits are going to be split.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Okay. Right, so that's 3 hits. So I'm actually going to put 2 hits on the rifle team, rather like you were doing over here. I'm using rifle team to protect them. Good thing I did. One man
and a shot.
And the leader is quite clearly with them. 1 man dead and a shot. And a dead. Let's see if it's anybody important. It's not, fortunately. So had a bit of effect there.
Yep.
Right, so that was your 3. So great thing for me is you don't have 2 3s, so at least you can't activate that blooming monster on the road.
Yeah.
So you got, what do you got now?
I have a 4 and a 2.
So senior leader here. Well, you could get him with 1 command initiative to move over there.
Yep.
This guy's supernumerary now. He's got nobody in his squad, so he could go with him and just join up with that squad as another man.
Yeah.
And you could then activate these guys.
Yep.
They could move forward with 1 dice and then fire at half effect.
Yeah, I think they're just going to have to.
Yeah, and the good thing is, being there, they're not in line of fire from my tank, which is kind of a positive thing, as we've seen.
Yeah. So let's get them up.
Okay, so roll 1 dice, and then they can move that far. Roll the dice there.
2 inches.
2. That's all you need. Up they come. I'll move them up for you.
Okay.
And you've definitely got the machine. Got the junior leader there. You got the machine gun there, and I reckon you're going to get another 3 guys firing there. So that's 8. You roll it all together. That's 11.
Okay.
And you wanted to get the senior leader going back. Just roll a couple of dice for him, just to make sure he can get there. He can always move.
So
3
roll
dice.
2 dice for him to move.
He's in shout range, but you just want to make sure he's going to get there. That's fine, easy. And he takes the other guy back. That's quite a punchy little squad because they've got a few guys. There's 3 guys there with submachine guns.
Yeah.
If it ever comes to close combat, you don't want to be hitting them.
Yeah, exactly. So 11 dice?
Yeah, 11 dice.
So.
Okay. Now we're hitting on 5s and 6s at that range.
1, 2,
but that's
3, 4, 5 hits.
5 hits. And these guys are feeling the pain already. I've only got 1 man left in the BAR team, so I'm going to have to put the 3 on the rifle team. 1 man dead.
Yep.
We need to roll the dice to see if it's anybody important because the senior leader is there. And then 2 on the BAR team, which is 1 man dead. Now there's a junior leader there. Let's see if it's him. No, thank goodness. But it is a team wiped out. His shock dies with him, but it is a team wiped out, which is a bad thing. Happens. That's 1 off my force morale. That means I'm going to lose another command dice.
Yeah.
That is really, really going to hurt now, because I felt with 4 command dice, I could just about keep up with your 5. 3 against. You want to make sure you don't lose anybody, because you want to keep those 5 command dice, because that's clear blue water between us now in terms of command. I'll put that over there and smash it with a hammer later.
All right, that's pretty much my fears because I can't do much else.
Well, let's see if I can activate anybody at all. 5. Oh, 1 on my chain of command dice. 4 and a 3. This tank can't see anybody.
That tank should move.
That tank should move. But I really want to put the pressure on to get that dice off you, and we've got a squad here that's on its own.
Yep.
So I've got a BAR there, that's 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 men, so that I can put 10 dice in there. So I'm going to have to do that with that 3.
Yep.
I'm going to have to activate the junior leader. See, this is where just having fewer command dice means, again, I can't do everything I want because my guys are pretty badly shaken up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But they're still shooting like cowboys. So 6 hits on these guys here.
These guys really are like, they don't care. They don't seem to care that much, do they?
Well, they're caring enough to have lost 2 command dice. Okay, so you're in light cover. That's 1 dead.
Yeah.
So because he's within 4, we roll for that. And that is 3 points of shock as well. So roll the dice to see who dies.
Okay.
It's not your leader.
Not a leader.
But you are pinned, because look at that, you've just got 5 guys there and 6 points of shock, so their firing is going to be halved. Unfortunately, that isn't a bad thing happen. That's kind of an everyday thing happens.
Yeah.
People get pinned down in action. So, what have you got left on your command dice now?
Well, that was you.
Oh, sorry, yeah, that was me, yeah.
So it's...
3, I used the 3.
You used the 3.
I've got the 4 for my senior leader. Okay, I'm going to do something daft.
Okay.
He's going to take a point of shock off, and he's going to say to this squad, run. And they're going to roll, and they're going to go 5 inches and take off the lower. Oh, that's not really going to leave them. Okay, well, I've said I'm doing it now. And this guy's coming out of there. I'm really kind of hoping that we can push round here, but I don't know why, I thought I was going to get a bit further than that. That's left me swinging in the breeze a bit.
It has,
That's it. You'll go.
If I could roll 2 6s now.
Yeah, that might be nice
That would
to
be.
pile the pressure on.
Yeah. No. So I got another on my chain of command dice.
Nice, yeah.
And a lot of useful stuff.
Yeah.
Kinda.
But I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to use my chain of command dice, and I'm going to interrupt.
Are you?
And that's going to allow me to activate these guys.
Can I interrupt your interrupt?
No, how can you interrupt and interrupt?
Why not?
Because you can't. It's a specific rule. Right, so let's see how far these guys go. I'm going to move yours because I'm going to run like the wind. Right, 16. So they're going to zoom over here.
Yep.
Now the good thing for me is that means that I shut down that deployment point.
Yep.
The bad thing for me is, which was what I was planning to do, I was planning to capture that deployment point and then use my chain of command dice to end the turn, which would hit your force morale. But because I was left hanging in the open, I had to use that chain of command dice, and I've only got 1 point on the next one. So I need to roll a lot of 5s very, very quickly. Okay, you'll go.
All right then.
So you can carry on with your activation. Let me pinch my dice back.
Okay, so I haven't used anything.
Yeah.
Because you interrupted me.
I did, yeah.
Very rude at that.
Very.
So what I will do is activate my senior.
Yeah.
And my senior leader is going to try and convince everybody here to go up here.
Well, you can use one of your national characteristics if you like now.
Oh, is this the one I was thinking?
Which is called Handgranaten. And this is very much the German stormtrooper tactics from the First World War. If you're within 12 inches of me, which you are, you can storm in, throw in grenades, and then assault me. You would roll dice to assault me. So roll 3d6.
Getting across there. So roll 3d6.
Now, first, sorry, 1d6.
1d6, okay.
Because what we're going to do is we're going to explain this rule for us, right? So, to reflect this, when a leader is attached to a team or squad and uses 2 command initiatives, which he's doing, he may lead a charge against any enemy within 12 inches preceded by a hail of grenades. So you roll 1d6, subtracting 1 if I'm in light cover, which I am. So let's roll the dice. This determines how effective your hail of hand grenades are. Ooh, so that's a 5. So that goes down to 4, which means 2 grenades hit.
Okay.
So I'm going to roll 4 dice. If I was in the open, I'd be rolling 6 dice because the effect is compounded in there. But grenades still count as in the open. So that's 1 man dead and 2 points of shock on those guys. We roll to see if it's a leader. So your grenades have had some effect. 1 man dead and 2 points of shock, and you now move in there rolling 3d6 to see if you make it.
Okay, so I'm just going to roll the 3d6 out here in the open.
Yeah, you do that and we'll see what we get. So
12 inches.
There's no doubt about it, they're going in. Let's move these unfortunate trees. I think they're probably been blown up by your grenades anyway. And now what we do is we're going to fight a close combat.
This should be bloody and interesting.
Well, it should be both of those, yes.
Yeah.
But the good thing for you is that you've killed a man and you've done that. So we need to know how many men you've got, not leaders, just men.
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right, now in close combat, that means you start off with 8 dice. Now how many leaders initiative have you got there? Leader initiative is the leader who's leading that charge. So he's a level 3.
Yeah.
So that puts you up to 11. Right. Okay, you don't have a quality advantage, you're not aggressive, but you do get 2 dice for each SMG, and we've already discussed the fact you've got 3 of them in there. So that's another 6 dice. So this is a real storm of steel.
Yeah.
17 dice. Now, for me, I had 2 men, and the leader is not using his initiative because we're kind of on the defensive, right? Okay, however, we do get a dice for every dice of movement that you use coming in, because it reflects us firing at you as you went through. So we got our 2 men, and then we've got our 3 dice for your movement. And we are defending light cover. So sorry, have we got any LMGs there? We don't have any LMGs. Have we got any SMGs there? No, because that's the leader. He's only got his pistol, so we don't get anything for that. However, we are defending light cover. Hooray! We get 1d6 for every 3 so far, which is only 1 because I haven't got 6.
Yep.
So that's where we are. We roll needing 5s and 6s.
Okay.
So I'll roll first because it won't take long to count these up. Oh! 3.
Yeah.
3 hits. 5 is a kill and 6 is 2 shock. So I've done 3 kills and 2 shock. However, you roll your dice now.
So I had how many?
I suspect you might be replaying that with interest. You had 11, it became 17.
3, 6, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17.
Well, that's handy.
Yeah, that was handy. Every blue dice on the table equals 17. Good.
Right, well, let's see where you go. I suggest just chuck them in the thing there because...
Hang on.
Right.
Oh God.
Okay, that's it. Just roll that one again. Okay, so I can't count them. Anyway, whatever it is, it's sufficient to kill all of my men, including the junior and senior leader, because it was certainly more than 4. So that's kind of a bad result for me, and I'm going to roll for my force morale before we go on and do yours, because the calculations are a lot easier with mine, because I've had a squad wiped, section wiped out, because there was a section wiped out earlier. So that takes me down, team wiped out, that takes me down 1 point. I've lost a junior leader, dead. Junior leader killed, that's 1 point. And I've lost a senior leader, and my force morale currently is at 1 point. And so that's it, my force morale collapses. So my guys are going to go, well, the lieutenant's dead, off we go. And the guys who were never committed into battle are pretty keen on it. I'll tell you what I was really trying to do over here.
Right.
I wasn't just looking to shut that one down. Had I got there, I could have played my chain of command dice not to end the turn, but to bring this forward 18 inches. That would then have allowed me to bring them on, outflank the position, and really give you a severe spanking. It was kind of do or die. If it had worked, it would have been fantastic. As it was, it completely backfired on me.
I was really surprised I managed to hold this whole flank at all, but then I'd given it the best opportunity.
Well, interestingly, choosing to put that jump off point back, further back here, gave you that depth that when my tanks were there blowing holes in your front line, you were able to commit yourself a little bit more conservatively, and then just pushing them up forced me to do something. Otherwise, I knew I was going to get shot to bits. So I was attempting to make a territorial game, bring on my reserves, crush you, and it didn't work at all.
And I forgot as well, we've reached the end of the game, but I actually did find some fire.
So the Sherman has been bubbling away, and all of a sudden...
happily bubbling away, and then finally smoke and flames have burst out of it. So.
Absolutely. So there we go.
Wow, that was a heck of a game.
I think the important thing is to stress the fact that what we've tried to do is make the rolls, the movement, really simple. The rolls to hit really simple. So what you're focused on in your mind is how to maximise that that hand that you've got, those command cards. And it's like you could fire these guys first and then advance with these, or you could advance with these and then fire these, which is the right sequence to get the best possible results. And you know, sometimes things go well for you and sometimes they don't. But hopefully you've enjoyed that. It's your first game.
I really have, and I'm disappointed in the Panther that it didn't get where it wanted to be. I should have been more aggressive with it. Could have taken the Shermans, like both of them out, and just saved myself a bit more pain, but...
This is the thing about warfare at this level, where this is just 200 yards. We saw what happened when I pushed up with my Sherman. Your Panzer came out and dealt it a blow. So what you really need to do is keep your tank back where it's in a great position to put pressure on, but also you've got infantry out there protecting it from those anti-tank teams. It's that combined arms approach where your infantry are protecting your tanks, but your tanks are doing the damage on behalf of the infantry. And that's kind of the way it works. And in the end, I mean, you know, that Panther made the difference there by destroying those teams and forcing me to do something utterly ridiculous. Which isn't too difficult, frankly. But
well, it's been a great game.
Thank you.
It's been fantastic
Glad
to learn.
You enjoyed it.
There's not much else I can say, to be honest, other than I really enjoyed that. So guys, put your comments in below. What did you think of this game of Chain of Command? Do you think I've managed to, I don't know, redeem myself a little bit? You know, I don't necessarily always need tanks. I know that's sacrilege for me to say. I don't always need tanks. I always need tanks. But I've managed without them for the most of the part of the game, and I think it worked out pretty well, obviously. But the main thing is, I was keeping you busy over here, and I was almost, in my head, I was going, I can afford to lose that. Once the Panzer team went down, I went, that flank doesn't need to be
you sucked me into a kind of no-win game. Neither of us were really going to win there, but the pressure was on, and that allowed you then to really focus here where the game was won. Especially these guys protecting that tank there, that was able to pour its fire into the building, knock some big holes in that, along with that fire of that MG42. That is the monster of a weapon, and you really see why, you know, okay, you've got to have it because it's in the platoon, but even if you didn't have to have it, you certainly would be choosing it, wouldn't you?
But it's been a fantastic game, and I've adored the rules so far, so I'm looking forward to playing a few more games of this over time.
Great.
So, get your comments down below, guys. Let us know what you think, and we'll see you again soon.
We hope you enjoyed this Let's Play. Go ahead and check out our other content on screen now, and be sure to check out beastsofwar.com for the latest gaming news and gaming Let's Plays. And while you're at it, why not hit subscribe, and remember to ding our dong. Go on, you know you want to click it. Go on.